secret crush. Lindsay Hsia met Chenjing in the summer, her favorite season. Her mother passed away during her first year of high school. Her father soon remarried, and she was taken in by her maternal aunt. Divorced and a construction cost engineer, her aunt was away from home most of the year. The few calls she made were only to ask if Hsia had enough living expenses whenever Hsia tried to say more. Her aunt would cut her off and hang up in a hurry. Her high school was less than a kilometer from her aunt's apartment, yet she always walked slowly. Every afternoon, she would bring a banana and buy a freshly squeezed apple minus carrot juice from the juice shop. The orange minus yellow liquid glowed brightly in the sun. She sipped the cold drink while biting the straw. By the time she reached the classroom, the straw was already crumpled flat, but there was still more than half the juice left. Hsia's menstrual cycle was always irregular. During 1P class, her school uniform pants, blue in color, became stained with menstrual blood as she was warming up. As she stretched her arms straight and bent over to touch her toes, she caught a whiff of crisp, clean laundry detergent scent. She straightened up and saw the high-hanging sun stretching the shadow of a tall, thin figure. "Your pants are stained. Do you need help?" she heard a husky, deep male voice say. She spun around sharply and saw a boy with a buzz cut. The sunlight shone directly into her eyes, making it hard to keep them open. The dampness beneath her sunk in, and her ears burned red at once. She let out a quiet minus hum, her heart pounding so hard it felt like it would leap out of her throat. The boy led her to a corner. "Wait here. I'll be right back." Before Hsia's could process what was happening, he was already running off. She stared unblinkingly at his slender back until it disappeared, then huddled in the corner, glancing repeatedly toward the way Hsia's gone and tugging nervously at the hem of her clothes. When the bell rang for the end of class, Hsiao saw the boy again, fine sweat beading on his forehead. He ran toward her holding a long shirt in one hand and a cup of pearl milk tea in the other. Out of breath from hurrying, he said, "Sorry to keep you waiting. Wrap this shirt around you, you don't have to return it. The milk tea is warm. Take care of yourself." Hsiao was about to ask which class he was in, but he had already turned and left. His back was soaked through with sweat. Revealing a straight, strong spine, she wrapped the soft shirt around her waist. The warm milk tea in her hand burned her palm and seared her beating heart. From that day on, Hsiao looked forward to PE class. During free periods, he would search the crowd for that boy. Her daily apple minus carrot juice was replaced with warm pearl milk tea. She chewed each pearl slowly and savored every sip, letting the taste linger on her tongue. The boy did not appear again. Yet the long shirt gradually absorbed her own scent of fresh, citrusy lemon fragrance. She grew anxious. She walked faster to school, hid behind the big banyan tree by the school gate, poked her head out and stared at the students streaming in and out, trying to spot that buzz minus cut boy. As time passed, his face grew fuzzy in her memory, but the lemon scent on the shirt only grew stronger. She saw him again during a math class. His name was Chenjing, the math class representative of the top minus tier class, invited by the teacher to act as a student tutor. He explained problem minus solving methods to Hsia's class. His handwriting on the blackboard was clear and forceful. His voice was steady and articulate. When he got enthusiastic, he would call on students to answer, his tone rising. If someone didn't understand, he would soften his voice and ask which part confused them. Hsiao stared at Chenjing on the podium, her heart racing uncontrollably. Hsia's deskmate had a lively personality, chattering non-stop about class gossip in her ear. She often brought Hsiao chocolate, and most of the bananas Hsiao brought ended up in her deskmate's stomach. Her name was Fengtian, and she was as sweet as her name suggested. Hsia's habit of staring out the window puzzled Fengtian. "Why do you always look outside? The scenery isn't even nice." Hsiao looked at the dorky minus cute Fengtian and poked her soft cheek. "I'm watching the summer scenery. Feng Tian, confused, pulled a round chocolate out of her pocket. Stop looking. Hurry and let me copy your homework. Xie was amused until the next second when she saw Chen Jing walking past the window. Her heart skipped a beat, and she froze, not knowing what to do with her hands and feet. When Chen Jing glanced inside, she immediately lowered her head, bit her lip until it turned pale, and scribbled aimlessly with her pen. Why are your ears so red? Feng Tian nudged her arm. Xie breathed shakily and whispered, It's hot. Feng Tian grabbed a textbook and fanned her. Better now, deskmate. Hurry up. I need to copy your homework. They're checking next period. Xie took a deep breath and pulled a small notebook from her desk to hand to Feng Tian. When Feng Tian flipped it open, the pages were filled with the name Chen Jing, written in fountain pen, the ink slightly smudged from rubbing. Feng Tian stared at Xie. You like Chen Jing? Xie quickly snatched the notebook back, stammering, I don't. I just wrote it randomly. Who just wrote it randomly? Feng Tian mimicked in a high, teasing voice. Sure. Xie sighed and told Feng Tian what Chen Jing had done for her that day. Feng Tian laughed until her eyes crinkled, patting Xie's shoulder. I get it. It's just a secret crush. Xie tried to explain but found no words, so she simply rested her head on the desk and ignored her. Yet her bright red ears had already given away her embarrassment. Every time Chen Jing walked past their classroom, Feng Tian would yell playfully and push Xie, your crush is here. Xie would quickly look up, and if their eyes met occasionally, she would lower her head in panic. The few times they walked near each other were all carefully rehearsed by Xie. In her head she kept her head lower, never daring to look directly at Chen Jing's face. Even a single brief glance would stir ripples deep in her heart. Later, Xie pieced together bits of information about Chen Jing from her classmates. He came from an educated family. His mother was the head teacher of a senior 3 top class. He was an honor student, always keeping -A disinfectants, nail clippers, and tissues in his desk. Everyone called him a living Leifang. During breaks, Chen Jing was either doing homework or tutoring classmates. Whenever Xie passed his classroom, he was always surrounded by people, and occasionally his bright, clear laughter would reach her ears, making her own tingle. When Chen Jing occasionally led the morning exercises, Xie would rush to stand in the front rows, so she could see his precise movements clearly and copy them carefully. She even took detours to the bathroom, pretending to pass his classroom. Her bangs fell loosely over her forehead. Her gaze was forward, but her peripheral vision was fixed entirely on Chen Jing. Chen Jing liked spinning pens. Xie tried to learn too, but she broke countless pens and never managed to spin them as smoothly as he did. Chen Jing liked folding scratch paper into paper airplanes and flying them around the classroom. Learn it to fold them to and wrote Chen Jing's name all over everyone. Not long after the start of her second year of high school, her father contacted her. He demanded money to buy a tombstone for her mother, threatening that if she refused, he would scatter her ashes into the sea and cause a scene at her school. This was not the first time he had asked her for money. The last time, he had charged her for her mother's leftover belongings, clothes and daily items, and drained all her savings. Xie wiped her ears fiercely and snapped at him. I have no money. Go scatter them then. When you die, I'll dig up your ashes and feed them to the dogs. She hung up and squatted in a corner of the playground, staring blankly at the ground. Suddenly a pair of white shoes came into view. Her breath caught for a few seconds. She looked up and saw Feng Tian. Feng Tian knelt down, put an arm around her shoulder, and smiled, praising her. You were really brave. Xie could hold back no longer. Tears streamed down her face, until she was sobbing silently. When it was nearly time for class, Fang Jian linked arms with Zhi and walked her back to the classroom. In the hallway, they ran straight into Chen Jing. He stepped aside and left quietly. Zhi's chest felt tight. As if she could not breathe, she only snapped out of it when Fang Jian shook her. Back in the classroom, she touched the small pack of tissues Fang Jian had given her in her desk, rubbing its edges. Something crossed her mind, and her eyes grew wet again. She pulled out one tissue gently, breathed in its faint scent, and let her tears fall, unwilling to wipe them away. Her father kept calling for money. She grew exhausted from dealing with him, and her studies slipped. Hearn also scolded her constantly about her grades. Eventually, when she caught sight of Chen Jing, she no longer had the courage to look at him. A senior year, she barely saw him at all. When the college entrance examination results came out, she had not done well. But she saw Chen Jing's name on the school's honor roll, and as expected, that was probably the last time she would ever see his name. That summer after the exams, every page of Zhi's cowhide notebook was filled with Chen Jing's name. Every pen she had used had traced his presence over and over. The long shirt she had never been able to return was saturated with a strong lemon scent.